All right, looks like we're live. Let me make sure this is going out okay. Perils of the live stream. Okay, sounds good. So my evening plans have come and gone. Done with them. So I figured, it's not too late. Why not get a Saturday stream out there for you folks? Because I love y'all. I want to get that quality content out to you. So we got a few articles we can talk about. I got nobody with me. That's the other thing. Luke, obviously, I told him we weren't doing this, so he's not around. But we got a few things we can talk about, and then maybe we'll take some callers. Let's see. We got an interesting story here. I'm gonna see if I can actually do a screen share successfully. Let me make sure all my Kim Possible porn tabs are closed out here, and see if this actually works. Boom! Oh no! Inception. Okay, so we got an article over at Vice. And the article is entitled, "This Influencer," which is a term I despise. This influencer was attacked by a shark while chasing the perfect gram. I'm old enough to remember when chasing a gram meant something else entirely. And she certainly got the shot. Katrina Zarutsky, a 19-year-old University of Miami student with a lifestyle blog called Vogue and Vegetables, I already hate her, was on vacation with her boyfriend and his parents when she spotted some sharks swimming in a nearby pool of water. Pardon me. BBC reports. Apparently, knowing a good gram opportunity when she sees one, I assume that's referring to Instagram, Zarutsky swam over to get the shot. As generally crazy as swimming into shark-infested waters. Somebody messaged me on the Skype there. As generally crazy as swimming into shark-infested waters may sound, Zarutsky told BBC she knew she wasn't doing anything particularly dangerous. Did she now? She said she knew from her time surfing and scuba diving that nurse sharks are pretty safe, and she already spotted people swimming around them, so she figured it would be an easy opportunity. Unfortunately, it didn't exactly work out that way. And here we see where this shark was doing the Lord's work, doing a little thought patrol for us. And Zarutsky laid back in the water to float above the circling sharks, and her boyfriend's father snapped photos. One nurse shark suddenly chomped down on her left arm and yanked her underwater. She wrestled against the shark's grip for about 10 seconds before she could tear herself away from its jaws, somehow able to stay calm and remember to get her arm out of the water before the blood could attract any more sharks. At that point, your body has so much adrenaline going, and you just have to get out of the situation. But I stayed extremely calm, she said to the BBC. I think if someone was screaming and flailing around, it definitely would have changed the situation. I'm lucky to have my hand, she told BuzzFeed News. Ooh, that's a big old chomper. Zarutsky was rushed to the hospital where doctors stitched up the wound and put her on antibiotics. The bite will likely leave a scar. But the whole incident was significantly better than it could have been. Plus, she managed to get the shot of the exact moment the shark bit down, so there's that. Zarutsky uploaded the fateful photo to her Instagram earlier this week, and her story quickly went viral. She gained tens of thousands of new Instagram followers and built up some pretty nice SEO for herself. I don't know what the hell that is. But maybe next time she could grab a photo at a LA mural with all the other influencers and call it good. Not really a happy ending, because this dumb slag got, basically got rewarded for her stupid fucking behavior. But there you go, folks. Shark doing some important thought patrol, not having any of that thoughterry in his waters. What the fuck is wrong with people? Like, you know, I've always had like when where I grew up, there was a lot of dense woods, and I used to like going on nature hikes and stuff like that. I've always, you know, I wouldn't call myself an outdoorsman, but I have a bit of that streak, and I always loved nature, always loved wild animals. They're fascinating, they're cool, you know. It just floors me. First of all, this woman, she didn't get in those waters because she just thought it would be so interesting and cool to be so close to these fascinating creatures. Okay. No, she wanted to be a hoe bag on Instagram, a super cool hoe bag. One thing I remember my dad teaching me from a young age, very young, one of the earliest things I can remember him teaching me is, you know, you fear and respect the wildlife. You have a healthy respect for the wildlife, because even animals that aren't generally dangerous can be dangerous. Okay, they're not they're not NPCs beep boop in a video game. Okay, they're not pre-programmed robots. You know, they're living things. You know, they have little wills and little minds of their own. So yeah, nurse sharks are generally not very dangerous, but they're still wild animals. And you should still approach basically no wild animal with anything other than caution. All right. Idiots. But this dumb slag's gonna get rewarded for this dumb crap. You know. Somebody had messaged me on Skype, said, "Are you still playing Owlboy Mega Man 11?" Yes. Yes, I am. I'm almost done with Mega Man 11. But yes, I am still going through those. I mean, I could basically give you a review of Mega Man 11 now. And that's, I mean, do you like Mega Man? Then go get Mega Man 11. There's really not a lot else I could tell you. It's kind of cool that the story's a bit more fleshed out this time. You know, you get a little bit more background into Wily and Dr. Light and all, without there being a ton of story, because there didn't need to be a ton of story because it's a classic Mega Man game. But it's cool that you get a little bit more backstory on them. It's cool that there's a bunch of different, say, like options on difficulty. That's really cool. There's basically, you know, there's like 5 options on difficulty that range from basically baby's first Mega Man to you know, kick you in the balls, Kaizo Mega Man kind of shit. And that's cool because, you know, Mega Man games can be kind of ball busters. So this would probably be a good jumping on point for somebody if they wanted to give it a shot, you know, who's kind of ease into it. All in all, though, it's a blast. I mean, it's Mega Man, you know. Let's see. So we got the influencer article. A couple of little things I'll share real quick here. We'll do another screen share since it seems to actually work. And there we go again with the screen share. Infinite screen share. Infinite screen share. Okay, so somebody got me this off the Amazon wish list. Thank you to whoever that was. It's a little 2-pack of Mario Kart air fresheners. So thank you for that. Just throwing that out there real quick. Another little thing worth mentioning. I picked this up at Target today. It's a 100-page comic. It's apparently it's based on a toy line called DC Primal Age. I think Funko is a company that put these out. They're like retro-looking action figures, but they're done in these. And they did a line of this for horror characters too, but it's done in like this Conan, He-Man, fantasy-esque type world style. And this is just a comic that's, you know, Basically, it's DC characters reimagined in this Conan-esque fantasy world. It's actually a pretty decent read. Picked it up at Target just on a whim, and because there was a bunch of them by the display of the toys, and it was pretty good. It kind of reminded me of those Elseworlds that DC used to do back in the 90s. Used to do a lot of those where, you know, like Batman's a pirate for some reason. Whatever. A lot of them were just silly, goofy shit, but fun. So, you know, if you have a fondness for those sort of Elseworlds and all, you're at a Target, I kind of suggest picking it up. Decent read. What else? Okay, so we wanted that. Okay, so here's some games I picked up today. I've been on a Kim Possible kick. NHL 2002 I've been wanting for a while for the Game Boy Advance because it's based on the old game engine that all the 90s NHL games ran on, the ones that were on the Super Nintendo and the Genesis, and way better on the Genesis. But I love those 90s and EA NHL games. And this is basically more of that, but with a, you know, slightly more current roster and players and all. Interestingly enough, it usually goes for like 20 to 30 bucks online. But I found it in their bin of Game Boy Advance games for $1.99, which I assume they just threw that the local retro game store in my area. I assume they just threw that on there because they probably just assumed it's worthless because it's an old sports game and they're usually worthless. The Kim Possible games, I only played a little bit of them today. But since I've been on a Kim Possible kick here the past few days, the first one, the graphics are ass. They're basically 2D action platformers, which, you know, what else do you expect on a Game Boy Advance? I mean, no reason you can't make good ones of those based off Kim Possible. The first one, though, the graphics, like that, they're just ass. Like, it doesn't, the sprites and all just look terrible. The second one, they look way, way better, though. But I'll probably dig into those a little bit more. Maybe have a full review of them. But, I mean, they were all dirt cheap. Like, all three of them together cost me less than $10. All right, so now let's move on to another story. We did those quickly. So this is off of Daily Mail here. Fucking ads. Woman in search of love has her vaginal fluid turned into a perfume to attract men and reveal it works. Oh. The scent we give off, chemicals known as pheromones, are believed to play a big role in attraction. One woman has gone to extremes to put this to the test by using her own vaginal secretions as an aphrodisiac perfume to attract men. After carrying out some research into how, writer Alison Ramirez discovered, quote, you basically have to stick a finger down there and then use said finger to dab your natural perfume on your pulse points. Oh, geez. Every day we stray further from God's light. What the hell is this ad? Okay, I thought that was something inappropriate. I was almost going to get to show it off YouTube here. According to the history books, this was a method of seduction used by courtesans of medieval Europe who spritzed their vaginal secretion behind their ears and necks and on their chests. But Allison felt this was, quote, a bit uncivilized, unquote, you think? And enlisted the help of a perfume maker to create her own personalized scent. The 20-something social media manager tested the product on a string of dates and was pleasantly surprised to find it worked. One romantic encounter ended with a smooch in a photo booth, and another led to a text to meet up again. Here's what she reveals in more detail about all her encounters armed with her secret weapon. Yeah, I don't think we're okay. And then now we're at a different article. What the? Oh, I hate these fucking sites. Oh, so there we go, folks. There we go. Y'all having a good time with that? Somebody in chat says tuna perfume. So I said the Bechtloff has been loving Kim Possible lately. Well, Kim Possible's awesome. Okay. I think the reason I started watching that show back when it first came on is because it was in that same art style as the Clerks cartoon, and I come to find out it's because one of the creators was the, I guess, art director or whatever, a character designer, whatever you want to call it, of the Clerks cartoon. So I often like to say I choose to believe that the Clerks cartoon exists in the same universe as Kim Possible. Like while all that stuff in Kim Possible is going on, over in New Jersey, Dante and Randall are manning the Quick Stop. Somebody in the chat says, "Smell my finger. Go on, do it." Somebody says, "Whitney, Wisconsin must have escaped." Ugh. I mean, like, I don't know how to put this. It's like, I don't think at least clean pussy smells bad. Okay. But there's something about it where it's like, I don't know. It's a kind of thing where it's a bad idea. Okay. It's a bad idea. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, if you're healthy, ladies, and you're washed up, okay, your pussy shouldn't stink. All right. But also, you don't necessarily want to be walking around smelling like pussy. Okay. It's sort of a time and a place smell. All right. Somebody says, you hear the story about chicks making beer from the yeast of their tasty snatch? Tasty, am I right? Well, yeah, if your snatch has yeast in it, I mean, there's a reason they call it a yeast infection. There's not supposed to be yeast in there. What? God has forsaken us. Jeez. All right, we got a more substantive article I want to tackle here. Actually, I guess I could just play the audio. Nah, we'll go ahead and do this article. Let's see. This is off of Rear. Yeah, Rear Clear Politics. That's Greg Johnson's site. No, this is Real Clear Politics. So let's go ahead and screen share again. I know, look at me screen sharing. Just like a big boy over here. How about that? Infinite screen share. All right. Oh, hang on a second. I got a pop-up. I don't want to. All right, let's go back to screen sharing. Boom. All right, screen sharing. And we got Kucinich. The deep state trying to take down Trump, quote, our country is under attack within. You know, I always had a respect for Dennis Kucinich. I mean, he's a bit of a socialist, but at times, but I don't know. He always struck me as a pretty decent guy. And by the way, Dennis Kucinich's wife is like smoking hot, which is weird because Dennis Kucinich is like a 3 foot tall little troll. And his wife is like this super stacked 6 foot tall badass looking redhead. I don't know. That little guy must be able to lick his own eyebrow or something, or he's a fucking kickstand. You know what I'm saying? Fucking tripod. I don't know what's going on there, but good for him. Anyways, in an interview with Sean Hannity, former rep Dennis Kucinich Democrat of Ohio, said deep state within the bureaucracy is trying to destroy Donald Trump. Quote, the political process of the United States being under attack by intelligence agencies and individuals in those agencies, unquote, said Wednesday night. Senate said Americans must put party politics aside and acknowledge that the federal government is, quote, under attack from within. Quote, you have politicization of agencies that is resulting in leaks from anonymous, unknown people, and the intention is to take down a president, former Kucinich said. And this is very dangerous to America. It's a threat to our republic. It constitutes a clear and present danger to our way of life. So we have to be asking, what is it that motivates these people? Who's putting these leaks out? Why doesn't somebody come forward and make a charge and put their name and reputation behind it instead of attacking through the media and not sustaining their position? Our first allegiance is to our country, Kucinich said. This isn't about one president. This is about the political process of the United States being under attack by intelligence agencies and individuals in those agencies. Yes, as you said, there might be good people in there, but there are certain individuals who are lifers who want to be able to direct the policy of the country. And if the president stands in their way, whether it's Democrat or Republican, they'll just try to run that president out. Let me just repeat what you said. You're saying President Trump is under attack by deep state intelligence community. Fair statement, Hannity asked the former congressman. Quote, I believe that, unquote, Kucinich said. Quote, not only that, Sean, it has to be pointed out that in October of 2016, that the same deep state overrode the decision of President Obama and Secretary Kerry to come to an agreement with Russia to a ceasefire in Syria. They overrode it and launched an attack in a Syrian military base. So this is a problem in our country. We've got to protect our nation here. People have to be aware of what's going on. We've got to stand for America. This isn't about Democrat, Republican. It's about getting what's going on in the moment and understanding that our country itself is under attack from within. Looks like that's the end of it. Like I said, I always liked Kucinich. I remember back during the Bush years, every once in a while, Kucinich would put a bill out there to impeach W, and it would be him and Ron Paul voting for it and nobody else. So, like I said, Kucinich is probably the one Democrat at this point that I don't think needs a special ride from a helicopter. What else we got? Not much else going on tonight. Anybody want to call in? I just had a few articles and all. I wasn't really sure that I was going to be doing this show tonight. So if anybody wants to call in, go ahead and message me on the Skype. Hey, Bechtloff, have you seen or have any interest in Lita Battle Angel? Apparently, it's been making leftists crazy. I've heard that. I know everybody making the joke because, she has the big goofy anime eyes and the live action and all. I don't know. I kind of want to see it. It's probably something I'm going to wait till it's on DVD and watch. I don't go to the theater anymore, really, ever. The last straw for me was when the theaters in my area all went to assigned seating. So, there was that. Real quick, before I take some callers, I'm going to go ahead and do our sponsor. We got our sponsor tonight, and that's Steve's Jerky. Steve's Jerky, folks, is delicious. I know I've joked on here, it protects you from warlocks and wizards because, I had people putting shimi curses on me. But really, Steve's Jerky is fantastic. I am extremely picky about jerky, and I love Steve's Jerky. It's great stuff. So go to facebook.com/Steve's Jerky and get you some Steve's Jerky. And look, folks, you want to support the show? Get you some Steve's Jerky because that's a win-win because you're getting delicious jerky, and that makes Steve Jerky want to keep being a sponsor. So also down below, you'll see the tip jar. There's a Patreon, the PayPal, and the Amazon wish list. You can send a one-time donation of any amount on the PayPal, and shekels are always greatly appreciated. That helps me keep doing what I'm doing. That makes it worth me doing what I'm doing. And also, folks, on the PayPal, I know I don't have the super chats because YouTube won't monetize me. I guess I should do the fucking Streamlabs thing. I hate that program, though, but I guess I should figure it out. But if you send a PayPal donation and you have a message you want read on the air, go ahead and put it in a PayPal donation. And, put whatever screen name you want me to read, and I'll read that. Or I'll just use your first name. That way it doesn't out you or nothing. Not gonna dox you. Don't worry. So, and there's also the PayPal, or I'm sorry, the Patreon, where you can become a regular supporter. That's very helpful. Even just $1. In fact, in many ways, it's better when people are donating small amounts on Patreon. Ideally, you want your Patreon to be a mile wide and an inch deep. And also, there's the Amazon wish list, where you can just buy me some of the dumb shit that I like. That helps the show too. So let's see. It seems like we got one caller once in. I'll send him the link. And boom. Looks like Ian McDonald wants to call in. And I don't know. After that, we might just wrap it up if we don't have any other callers, folks. I didn't really know if I was going to be doing a live stream tonight, so I didn't do a ton of research. I just gathered a few articles beforehand. Didn't do any show prep. I don't have nobody else with me, so there's an interesting article on the Facebergs. It's off BuzzFeed News. I'm not gonna screen share this, but real quick, this is just off BuzzFeed News by Ryan Mack. It says Mark Zuckerberg promised a clear history tool almost a year ago. Where is it? Last May, Facebook promised to create a clear history function. It said it would give users more control over their data. 9 months later, it's nowhere to be found, and sources say a key example of the company's reactionary way of dealing with privacy concerns. So yeah, it's look, don't put any fucking data on Facebook. It's just that simple. Okay, I use Facebook to keep in touch with people. It's actually a solid messaging program at this point. And it's a good way for me to keep in touch with people. And obviously, I run the Bechtloff Facebook page where, that's a nice little social media thing where I can update you. There isn't really a character limit on the post or nothing. So, Bechtloff.com or Facebook.com/the Bechtloff. Check that out if you're on Facebook. But don't put your personal info on Facebook. Okay. I don't even like putting personal pictures on there. All right. I just, I share memes, I message friends. That's about it. And I don't let people I don't know friend me on Facebook. I have my settings set so that only friends can see my shit, that kind of thing. I keep my private Facebook. I keep it free of my personal info, and I keep it somewhat private just because I don't want, I don't have much of an audience, and there's not a lot of people who want to give me a lot of shit for what I'm doing. The left doesn't notice me and whatever, but I really don't want like a friend or family member to be getting a ration of shit over the fact that I said something online to piss somebody off. I don't want fucking, a Rini sock puppet to try and friend all my friends, something like that. So, like I said, just don't share personal shit on Facebook. And by the way, do not. And I have loved ones that do this, and I scold them for it. Do not put your fucking pictures of kids on Facebook. Don't do it. Okay? Just don't. It's a massive violation of their privacy that they can't consent to. They lack the ability to understand that shit's just out there. And what happens if you put a picture of your kid and they got kind of a goofy look on their face, and somebody copies it and turns it into a meme, and it's the meme of like that face when you shit your pants or something. And from now on, that he shit his pants. He had kind of a goofy look on his face. I mean, we laugh, but we've all shared memes that are like little kids. You know what I mean? We've all done that. We've all laughed, and I'm guilty of it too. But that's a fucking person that got turned into that joke. That's a fucking person that just innocently got turned into a joke. All right, it's just some kid. Like, don't put pictures of your kid out there. And then that's before you take into account the amount of fucking pedos that are jacking off to it. Like some, like our YouTube started cracking down on some of the videos of like kids getting ready and shit like that that the pedos jack off to. And some mom on Twitter was complaining about, like, I can't believe YouTube said my content wasn't advertiser friendly. It's just my sweet innocent son doing gymnastics. Look, lady, the only people that were watching that video was like your 5 or 6 fucking friends and relatives, a handful of other kids, and fucking thousands of perverts. Because who the hell else wants to watch a prepubescent boy do gymnastics? You know, remember when Ross was, fucking Autismo was all like, I look for videos of kids in the bathtub because
it was just looking for pictures of kids in the bathtub. I don't, fucking. Why do you guys keep judging me about that? I was just doing it because they look fucking cute.
I'm just looking for kids in the bathtub. What's wrong? I'm just looking for little boys doing gymnastics. Like when you tell me like who's watching little boys do gymnastics on fucking YouTube, I'm picturing Herbert from Family Guy. And his fucking crippled dog Jesse. Okay, like, oh, jackpot! Look at that boy, sweet ass. Like that's what I picture is watching those videos. And you're fucking making you ad shekels off that. You're fucking making ad shekels knowing that basically pimping your son. Low level pimping your son. You're making ad shekels and now you're mad. Like, I can't believe they said this is, bitch, that shit shouldn't be online, period.
Watching my son go black.
It's one thing with like child actors, okay? Because I mean, aside from the fact that now we know that they're all getting casting couched, the massive violation of privacy that a child actor who becomes a real star suffers, you know what I mean? That can play havoc on a kid. But at the same time, if you're smart with your money, you're set for life. You know what I mean? Like, let's say years ago, your kid is in a sitcom. You know what I mean? And he becomes a big, massive star, like the fucking Olsen twins were back in the day, or the fucking guy that played Urkel or something. You're making just money hand over fist, right? Well, okay, yeah, maybe the kid didn't have the most normal childhood, but assuming you don't let the poor bastard get casting couched by fucking Dan, she's a fighter, holder tighter Snyder, then it's not too bad, and at least the kid's set for life. That's one thing. But y'all fuckers are throwing this crap on YouTube for measly ad pennies. You know what I mean? For a few fucking bucks a month. Or sometimes you're throwing it on Facebook and it becomes a meme. And this kid becomes famous without seeing a damn red cent from it. Don't put pictures of your kids online. Just don't do it. All right, stop. It's time to stop. If I was in charge of Facebook, there would be no pictures of any human being under the age of 13 allowed on the site, period. Oh, but I'm a new mom and I want to share my baby pictures with people. Fine. You fucking message them to it. Email them to them. Print the fucking things out and mail them to motherfuckers for all I care. But no, you're not putting it out for public consumption. I would just say no. No one is posting pictures of minors. Or at the very least, anyone under the age of 13 or something on here. No, because I think that's when you're allowed to have a Facebook page is 13. Okay, well, if you're not old enough to have a Facebook page, then you're not old enough to have your pictures on Facebook. How about that? No. And you see this from especially single moms. Like a buddy of mine knows this single mom, I know. But if I were to go on her Facebook page, usually her fucking avatar picture, her profile picture is a picture of her kid because that's her only fucking identity, basically. First of all, it's fucking sad to have your profile picture be a picture of another person. Aside from maybe like a meme or a goofy picture or something that you're using as kind of ironically or a symbol of you or a little something like that. But like another person is your profile picture. That's fucking weird. That's fucking weird. Don't do that. Okay? Your profile picture is meant to, if not be a picture of you, be some picture that represents you. Maybe even in a humorous way. Because I don't like putting my profile picture, a picture of me. But my profile picture will be like, well, I think the last one I had was Invasion of the Saucer Men. I think currently I have this picture of like a little frightened hamster on my Facebook page, and somebody photoshopped him in holding a cross, you know, which is my fucking reaction to the world this week with all these fucking 10-year-old drag queens. So yeah, just don't put it out there. Ian McDonald, what's on your mind?
Well, I'm taking it taking this in a bit different of a direction. I have a new article for you from the great state of Louisiana.
You're kind of breaking up there a little bit, like roboting.
For it.
You're kind of roboting there, but I'll take a look at this article. Let me. Oh, more fucking blackface. Fantastic. Okay. So we got an article from FoxNews.com. Louisiana Police Department apologizes for 1993 blackface during drug operation, but officers stand by tactics. This isn't. Oh, so they use blackface to infiltrate a gang? That's actually fucking badass.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead and screen share here. And there goes the inception. All right, so Louisiana Police Department apologized for 1993 blackface during drug operation, but officers stand by tactics. 2 white undercover Louisiana narcotics police officers armed with chopped up chalk as a crack cocaine stand-in covered their faces in black makeup and hit the streets of a predominantly black neighborhood in Baton Rouge, hoping for fool drug buyers. Well, okay, first of all, that sounds like goddamn entrapment. All right, that put the blackface issue aside because who cares? That sounds like entrapment. All right. Hey, you want to commit this crime and then you're arrested. That's fucking entrapment. Don't do that. You're not supposed to do that. Anyways, now amid nationwide scandal involving blackface, the Baton Rouge Police Department is apologizing for the tactics used in February 1993 department-approved operation. But 2 of the officers involved in the 26-year-old program are standing by it. I don't care about their fucking blackface. This was entrapment. The Louisiana operation came to light after photos featuring some of the cops in blackface in a police yearbook surfaced online. Why did police have yearbooks? Blackface photograph. Like, can we all just grow out of... Like, I didn't give a shit about yearbooks when I was in high school. Who the hell is that grown-ass man at a job giving a shit about a yearbook? I didn't even buy them when I was in high school. What the fuck's wrong with you people? Blackface photographs are inappropriate and offensive. They were inappropriate then and they're inappropriate today. No, entrapment is inappropriate, pig. Police Chief Murray Paul, who is black, of course, said in a statement on Monday, the Baton Rouge Police Department would like to apologize to our citizens and to anyone who may have been offended by the program or the photograph. How about you apologize for running entrapment programs? I love how this what the fuck's wrong with it? The real fucking issue here is, again, that's fucking entrapment. You go out and encourage people to commit crimes is fucking entrapment. I don't like when they do that shit with the prostitution either. You know, hey, you want to buy a hooker and then you're arrested if you say no after I talked you into a crime. That's fucking horse shit. Oh. Fucking pigs. We apologize for the blackface. We don't apologize for, you know, the actual thing we did wrong, but we apologize for, you know, wearing makeup to blend in an undercover operation. Get fucked. Get fucked. Fucking pigs. Let's see. Somebody says idiots will harp on the least important thing. 1993. Who cares? Exactly. Who the fuck cares?
Did somebody say pigs? Because that makes me hungry for some bacon.
You know, I know it's a rarity, but I actually hate bacon. I hate it.
What's wrong with you? Are you a Jew or a Muslim?
Yeah, I'm a fucking the Church of the Mirthful Ball. I don't like pork in general, to be honest with you. I like a honey baked ham, and I'm okay with like pork sausage or hot dog.
Bechtloff is a crypto Jew,
but I don't like a pork chop. I don't like most pork, and I hate fucking bacon. I just hate it. I'm a chicken and beef guy. Occasionally seafood, but I just can't stand pork, man. It's that nasty swine meat. I don't know what the hell is wrong with y'all.
You know, it's very hard to get, like, to be fair, it's not easy to get pork chops right because you have to season it right. And also, it's, like, very hard because it's overcooked. Because you need to overcook it in order to kill the germs because it's pork.
Yeah, because pigs are fucking disgusting. Though in all fairness, chickens are pretty fucking disgusting, too. I mean, they're pretty dirty animals. You got to really cook chicken, or you could risk dying. But chicken's good.
Well, these days, pretty much all animals are pretty dirty because they're all like factory farmed and shit. Like they're all like locked up very tight together, and like they're shitting on top of each other.
Oh yeah, the factory farm situation again. You know. Again, I contend we're largely overpopulated in this world. We're not so bad here in the West, but the world at large is we can't feed at any kind of. That's why you see all these idiots talking about like we should all start eating bugs. They're an excellent source of protein. I'm sorry, I don't want to live in a world where we all eat fucking bugs. Okay, how about we just trim down these numbers a little bit? How about we get a nice Thanos fucking finger snap going on here? So we don't have to eat bugs.
Factory farming is the only legitimate reason to be vegan.
Well, there is also, I mean, of course, this ties into veganism a little bit, but there is also lab-grown meat out there, like the Beyond Meat. And have you tasted it?
No, I don't want to. That sounds. Somebody in the chat says shrimp are bugs. You all already eat bugs. You'll all eat bugs. Or, you know, a buddy of mine actually hates. He doesn't like seafood in general, but he can't stand like shrimp or lobster or crab. And I think it's mostly he's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Those are water bugs. Or are you eating them? They're water bugs. They're giant water bugs, and they do look like insects." There's no. I mean, who was the first brave motherfucker that ate a lobster? Supposedly in early New England, they used to give lobster to the slaves because they thought it was disgusting.
Yeah, they used to be lobsters used to be prison food.
To be fair, actually, I've once tried like the Beyond Burger, and it tastes surprisingly like the real thing. It tastes surprisingly good.
That's what they said about traps.
Well, I agree with that as well from personal experience. I'm just kidding, guys. Right.
You know what's really good though? I'm a big fan of it. You can't get it almost anywhere, really. I mean, you're lucky if your grocery store will even get it for you half the time. It's bison. Bison burgers are so fucking good, man. Not many restaurants carry it. One of the few I know of is Fuddruckers has a good bison burger.
Yeah,
you can only get it in a damn half-pound size, though.
Fuddruckers was always very good. I've been eating at Fuddruckers since I was very little. Like,
yeah, I used to go to Fuddruckers when I was a kid. It was one of the few restaurants that wasn't in my hometown, but we used to go to it. There was one on the way. It was still kind of a new chain, I guess, at the time. There was one on the way when we go to Ocean City as like a vacation in the summer.
Yeah, I remember like there was one of my favorite things about the place growing up was that they always had a pretty sick arcade. Like they usually have games like the Terminator light gun game or Metal Slug.
Mm. They need to bring back arcades, man. I feel like that would be a shot in the arm malls need. Because, you know, the best way to get people out anymore isn't offering a product. It's almost offering an experience.
That's true. And also, if they not only bring back the arcade, if they also have VR games at the arcade, you know, like, for example, like they have an Oculus Rift or HTC Vive game, like an Oculus game, except like you have to go into a booth and pay for it.
Yeah.
Like they make a lot of money doing that because most people can't afford to like buy a whole setup for VR gaming.
Yeah, I'd give VR gaming a shot, like at like a booth. I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't invest in the whole fucking setup.
Yeah, like last Saturday, I went to like this one arcade at a local mall that had all these, like, I was there with Dashing Rogue, and they had all these sick games there. A lot of Japanese import games where they didn't even translate it, and it's like they have like so many different like gun games. It was pretty much a throwback to arcades when I was growing up.
There's a place in my area called Timeline Arcade. It's actually in the next county over, but they're opening one in my county here soon. But it's all free to play, but you're charging by the hour to be in there. And it's pretty interesting. It's got a lot of classic games in there. I mean, it's got some older stuff like Donkey Kong and the original Mario Brothers and like Nintendo's old arcade games, that kind of thing. You know, classic stuff like Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man and Dig Dug. But then it's got somewhat more new stuff like, you know, it's got the Simpsons arcade game there, the X-Men arcade game. It's got a bunch of fighters, like some Mortal Kombat stuff and that kind of thing. I think it has I think it actually has an NBA Jam arcade cabinet in there too. But, you know, stuff from the 80s into the early 2000s, you know.
With like some of the VR games, they're starting to bring back a little bit of the arcade element to it, like where you just like advance through levels and you just try kill as many enemies as you can while not getting killed yourself, and like you have this whole scoring thing. Like it's sort of like a, you know, because lately everything has been so story driven with like the AAA games and their cutscenes and their high production values. Like with VR games, they're starting to go back a little bit in that direction, like that old school direction where you used to have a game for the sake of having a game. Like a perfect example of this is Robo Recall, which I've once demoed at a booth. It's pretty cool. And there's also another VR game called Sirento, which I haven't played but looks pretty sick.
I guess there's still, I mean, Dave and Buster's is a big chain, and that's basically, you know, a restaurant / arcade, but it's got a lot of that kind of like Dance Dance Revolution type shit or Fruit Ninja or something like that.
You know, at Dave and Buster, there are no fighting games.
That's lame.
Yeah, like the only fighting game is like Injustice Mobile. Like it's like a big screen version of the Injustice game on the iPhone, and like you don't even have like a basic like a fight stick or anything like that. You just have a bunch of like weird half circle buttons which are just retarded and lame.
Somebody in the chat says we got an arcade bar that has Marvel vs. Capcom. Oh man, there was the mall in my area back when I was in high school. I'm talking like around 2000, 2001. Because going to the mall was basically a common date with my high school sweetheart, and we hit the Marvel superheroes and Marvel vs. Capcom 2 arcade machines a lot.
Yeah, This today I was at the Microsoft store and they were demoing Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and I played it and it was pretty sick. I'm definitely buying the game as soon as it comes out on the Nintendo Switch.
There's a custom Marvel arcade game coming to just Dave & Buster's, from what I understand.
Yeah,
it's some sort of version of the Contest of Champions, I think, mobile game or something.
Oh, I mean
I think I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
to be honest.
I think that's what they did with the Injustice game. Like they just ported the iPhone game.
I don't think it's a port. I think it's actually original for them. I just don't. It's called Contest of Champions, and I think it's just a fighting game. But I have no idea, to be honest.
Is this a fighting game? This is a Marvel versus Capcom fighting game, right?
No, it's just Marvel. It's just Marvel stuff.
Okay. Is it like a specific franchise of Marvel, or is it like the entire Marvel universe?
Marvel. It's just general Marvel. It seems to have front and center mostly characters that are in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but I think it is broader than that. Like it's, Avengers and Spider-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy mostly on the front of it. But I mean, that is the hot shit that Marvel's pushing right now. So
yeah. Have you played Injustice 2?
No, I haven't played either of the Injustices.
Yeah.
I actually watched a bunch of YouTube videos where it was like a bunch of the intros and shit. And I think it's kind of cool how like the DLC for Injustice 2 has like the Ninja Turtles and Hellboy in it. But like it sort of acknowledges that they're from different universes and they've just come over to this universe and they're helping them stop Brainiac or whatever. But yeah, I kind of watched a bunch of the things where it's like the different intros, like involving the Ninja Turtles and stuff. It was kind of cool. Like there's, the one where like the Flash runs up to him and he's like, "Where'd you come from?" And like one of the Ninja Turtles is like a New York of a different Earth, and Flash just says to him, he's like, "You'd be surprised how much sense that makes to me."
Yeah. There used to be, not too long ago, a DC versus Mortal Kombat game. For some reason, it fell by the wayside.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't like it. I still have it on the Xbox 360. I enjoyed it. It's decent enough. I enjoy, playing it when I got friends over. I'm kind of surprised they never made a comic book adaptation of it because, Warner Brothers owns Mortal Kombat, from what I understand. Like Mortal Kombat comics are published at DC. I'm sort of surprised they never did a comic adaptation of it. Because I know they've had Mortal Kombat comics at DC since probably like 2012 or some shit like that, 2013 or 14, something like that. For years now, they've been doing Mortal Kombat comics at DC.
Yeah, I've heard that DC has been resisting the woke better than Marvel has. Is that true?
Yes, but that's a pretty low bar. Marvel, a lot of Marvel books are pretty fucking steeped in that shit right now. And there's some of that at DC. It's just not as bad. There's a lot better stuff at DC than over at Marvel. That's for sure. There's a couple of decent Marvel books, but Marvel's in really rough shape right now. DC it's a lot better, but it's still. Everything is fucking paused these days. It's so hard to get away from it. Like I really enjoyed the Ghostbusters stuff at IDW, and I'm liking a lot of the Star Trek stuff at IDW right now. And I'm enjoying a little bit of the Ninja Turtle stuff at IDW. But a lot of IDW's higher up staff, IDW Comics, their higher up staff is completely butt fucking paused. And from what I hear, they have done insanely horrible things to fucking Transformers and G.I. Joe. God help you if you're a G.I. Joe fan right now. So yeah, you can't get away from it, man. There's like Batgirl is a dumpster fire over at DC, It's that woke you go girlism bullshit. And it's not even good quality. Like there's this famous panel that's getting passed around of like Batgirl, I guess after a fight or something, she's washing her face in her bathroom, and this bathroom is a fucking disaster. Like the door is drawn to where the bathtub is covering up half the door.
Wow,
that's like it's just a disaster. This bathroom is a fucking clusterfuck. I think it was like she had no reflection in the mirror or something like that. There's just all sorts of things were fucking wrong with it.
So you're saying her bathroom is basically like my bathroom?
It's the whole thing was a fucking mess. The Batgirl series is ass over at DC. A lot of the stuff Tom King does is ass. His Batman run started off really strong, but it got fucking gay. There's a lot of bad stuff at DC. There's some decent stuff at DC. But there's some shit there. Marvel's way fucking worse. Basically almost everything like Superior Spider-Man's pretty decent right now. And I think that's fucking it at Marvel. At least that I know of. There's not a lot I'm reading anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
do you ever read manga?
A little bit. I dabble in it some, but I don't really care for it all that much. Like I've read some of the Zelda mangas, they were pretty good. I read the Mega Man mangas, they were pretty good, but that's because I have a love for Zelda and Mega Man. I read that manga about like the town that was haunted by like the spirit that manifests as a spiral pattern all the time. That was actually pretty good, but it sort of peters out. Like it felt like they kept it running longer than the creator had any ideas for. I read the original Astro Boy shit, which I mean that's going way back. That's some OG manga right there. I read a lot of the original Astro Boy shit, and I like it a lot. It's very charming. For the most part, though, most manga looks like it's written for fucking 13-year-old girls. Like I remember, like 10, 15 years ago, it was kind of understood. Like I don't know, maybe this was just in my circles, but it was sort of understood. Like manga was for chicks.
Well, you're probably right.
I mean, I'm sure there's exceptions and all, and but like nobody thought Dragon Ball was for chicks, for example. It's obviously for stupid guys, because Dragon Ball is shit, and if you like it, you're wrong.
Well, the appeal of Dragon Ball Z is basically it's supposed to be a Rocky story where a guy beats somebody who's originally way more powerful than he is, but he got up to his level by training very hard.
I guess. I think it's shit. I mean, there's some manga out there I think is good, but
I agree.
It's sort of the kind of thing where it's like I wouldn't even know where to get into a lot of it. You know what I mean? Like I saw something at the bookstore, and I might end up picking it up called Love and Hell, which is like this little, I don't know, this weird. It's almost like a romantic comedy Cenobite kind of thing, and it looked just goofy and weird premise that I thought might be interesting. But I'm like, I don't know. Do I really want to spend money on this when it might be ass? And I don't even like the art style of a lot of it. I just really don't have a taste for it, man.
Yeah. I would say just get the manga of the animes that you're familiar with. Like, I'm thinking of getting manga of Goblin Slayer and of Hellsing. Like, have you watched Hellsing?
I've not watched either one of those. Like I said, I don't watch a lot of anime.
Yeah. Hellsing is not a very deep anime. It's just a good old fun. It's just a good old fun time. It's like with vampires and Nazis. It's basically like a B-movie type plot.
I watched some other ones I read. I read the first volume of Attack on Titan, and it was just a whole lot of meh. Like I can't even say I thought it was bad. It was just like I read it and then had absolutely no interest in getting volume 2. I just read it because at the time everyone was sucking its dick.
Well, I've watched parts of. I think I'm maybe about like halfway through season 1 of Attack on Titan, not the manga but the anime, and it seems to be drawn, like there are parts of it that seem to be drawn out a little bit. If you do you get that feeling when you were reading the manga?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. I like anime movies. I mean, there's been a few that I've genuinely liked over the years, but just not many. Like, what did I like to, I know it's basic bitch to almost say it because it became so popular, but I really liked Spirited Away and Princess Mononoke when I first saw them. I thought they were great.
Yeah, I heard those. I haven't seen those movies, but I've heard they're great.
I mean, I loved Princess Mononoke when I first saw it, and I really love Spirited Away. Spirited Away, I think, is actually better. Princess Mononoke is a bit more famous, I think, but Spirited Away is damn good.
Like the style of anime that I don't like is like basically the discount anime that's produced in the West, like Castlevania on Netflix, for example. I can't stand that style.
Oh, I like that. I like that show a lot, actually. I thought Castlevania on Netflix was fantastic. I got a big kick out of that.
The thing about it is that,
I mean, I only watched it because I have a fondness for the old games. So that's what got me to start watching it. But I thought it was great.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even call it anime. I mean, it's done in an anime style, but from what I understand, it's mostly Western creators.
Yeah.
That's like calling Teen Titans a manga or an anime because it's done in that bullshit anime style, which I thought was part of the reason it sucked. Or like if I called Empowered a manga because it's done in a manga art style. Like it's, that's a Western cartoon. I mean, through and through. That was written by Warren Ellis, for fuck's sake. That's an entirely Western produced cartoon, from my understanding. It's just done in an anime style, and I liked it a lot. I liked Castlevania a great deal. It gets a little bit of fedora tipping at parts.
Oh yeah, that's
very rarely. Like most of it is shitting on the Catholic Church, not really Christianity in general. Which I'm okay with because fuck the Catholic Church. It's funny. Back when I was still talking to him, there was a certain bald Catholic motherfucker who I was mentioning, like, I'm really enjoying the anime, and he was in the chat, and he goes like, "It's anti-Catholic propaganda," and I just sort of responded to him like, "Hey man, you don't have to sell me on it. I'm already a fan." I like the Castlevania.
Well,
hell, I actually got my dad to watch
Kane from Command and Conquer.
I actually got my dad to watch it, and he actually enjoyed it. He doesn't even know what the fuck Castlevania is. He actually commented. He's like, the name Castlevania is kind of corny for as good as this is. And I'm like, yeah, that's because it's originally based on a fucking game that was nothing but a parody of Universal monster shit. But like the chick vampire in it, man, she was a very interesting character.
Yeah, I haven't
when she was shitting on the Viking
but...
vampire, because like when he's like when they're shitting on the Viking vampire at one point, they're like, "You never met anything that you didn't try to kill, fuck, or make a boat out of," and that basically sums up the Vikings. Like all these fucking neo-pagans that want to be like, we was Vikings and all this shit. Motherfucker, Vikings were the Dindus of Europe. Okay. Like the only thing that made them slightly more advanced than the most degenerate tribes in sub-Saharan Africa is they managed to build boats. And they only managed to build boats so they could go to other places to kill, break, and steal things and rape things. They only made boats so they could find other places to break shit and shove their dick where it didn't belong.
Yeah, it's funny how like Vikings are so glorified in modern media with like the History Channel show and all that stuff. But yeah. Speaking of Castlevania, I've never played any Castlevania games, but I did play Metroid, and I am a fan of like a lot of Metroidvania games, like Hollow Knight's a very good Metroidvania.
I played the original 3 Castlevania games on the Nintendo back in the day. I didn't own any of them, but my cousin did, and I played them a lot at his house. And I've since played a few other ones, and back in the day, I remember playing a little bit of Symphony of the Night. Symphony of the Night's really good. Which I mean, I don't need to tell y'all. You all know that. If you know anything about retro games, you know that.
Is Symphony of the Night the one on Super Nintendo?
No, it's the one on PS1, and it's
okay.
It's the first of what you'd call the Metroidvania style. Like the Castlevania games before that hand were much more linear. Where the challenge was really, getting good. I guess that Castlevania 2 has all these weird RPG elements that didn't quite work, but Symphony of the Night was the first one where it's like, it goes in that sort of Metroid style of progression. Your character becomes more powerful as you find more secrets, which allow you to access more areas.
Yeah. Like lately, I've been playing Hollow Knight a lot. I've had the game for a long time, and I've just discovered a lot of new areas that, if you're familiar with Metroidvania games, you know that like once you've gained new abilities, you would be able to like explore certain areas that you weren't able to do so before. And yeah, I thought it was like really sick. And if you are familiar with like Hollow Knight, it's made in a hand-drawn art style, so it's like it's very well done. It's very artistic.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people raving about it. Yeah. Somebody in the chat says, Bechtloff, since you don't like bacon or shrimp, does that mean you're Jew? No, I do like shrimp. My buddy, I said, didn't like shrimp. But I love shrimp, lobster, and crab. I'm a big fan of the. I like all the seafood that's not really good for you. Like I don't really like actual fish that much. Like I can eat some of it, but I'm never gonna make it. I'm never gonna order it at a restaurant. But like crab's fantastic. Lobster, love me some lobster tail. Shrimp, that kind of thing. A lot of times I'm down for the endless shrimp over at Red Lobster.
I like salmon, and I like spicy tuna. Like a traditional tuna sandwich, I don't really. It's okay, but it's not my first choice. And yeah, I also like shrimp a lot. I especially like fried shrimp, jumbo shrimp. As far as lobster is concerned, I don't really eat lobster that much. I think it's okay. It's a little bit oily.
It's kind of pricey too. And really, I find the only lobster, like a lot of people like them eating the claws, I guess. I don't care. I like lobster tails. That's the only real lobster meat I care for that much. Somebody says, my mistake, just making sure you weren't Ben Shapiro with a voice changer. No, I am taller than 4 feet, so I'm not Ben Shapiro.
Well, there are a lot of like food trucks selling lobster rolls, sandwiches, and I've had a lobster roll at my cafeteria of my previous workplace, and it's terrible. But that's because that cafeteria is terrible. Like there were small bones in it.
Oh, that's terrible. How the hell do they get bones? That's got to be like pieces of the shell or something.
Oh, yeah, pieces of the shell.
I was going to say,
I'm not an expert.
Yeah. I don't know what they fed you, but lobsters don't actually have bones.
Okay.
They have an exoskeleton. Their skeleton is on the outside. Like they don't have bones. They have a shell. If it had bones in it, they fed you something that was not lobster. I can tell you that much.
Oh, maybe they fed me a human fetus.
Could have been fun. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Were you working at the Planned Parenthood?
I don't know.
This one is so underdeveloped. It sort of looks like a fish still.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, this is only a couple of weeks. It still looks like a guppy.
That's the mindset of most pro-choicers that it doesn't look like a human, so it can't be a human. It's
lobsters have exoskeletons because they're bugs.
Yeah, I'm not sorry about that. I'm not an expert on animal anatomy.
Yeah, trust me. If there were bones in it, they weren't feeding you lobster.
Yeah. Well, my next job is somewhere in San Francisco, so it's possible that they may be feeding me a human fetus. They will be, yeah.
Let's see. Oh man, I could go for some fucking lobster. You know what I used to love doing is like doing up like a plate of like lobster nachos, getting bits of lobster tail and doing them up on a plate of nachos.
Wow.
It's fucking awesome.
That sounds good. Yeah,
with like melted cheese, a little bit. Then after you get the hot cheese on it, you put a little bit of like cold sour cream on there, maybe some chives, a little bit of like chopped up like jalapenos, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't think they sell that anywhere on the. Well, they probably do in my area, but I just don't know about it. Like, where do you get this stuff? Like these nacho lobsters from? These lobster nachos? Excuse me.
Just get like a lobster tail, and chop up the meat.
Oh, you make it yourself.
Yeah, make it, man.
Okay.
I don't know where you buy it. I know Red Lobster used to have a really good lobster pizza.
Nice.
Just make it yourself, man. Or do what? I actually try lobster in a quesadilla. I've been making quesadillas a lot lately. Yeah. That'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah. Like you should make a lobster quesadilla and send it to Jordan Peterson because he's very fond of lobsters.
The Lobster King.
Lobsters.
All right. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up because it doesn't look like we got any more callers wanting to hop in. And I wasn't really sure I was even going to stream tonight, so I didn't do any kind of prep work. I didn't gather any guests or nothing. So let's see. Folks, if you enjoy the content I put out, do consider checking out the sponsor. We got Steve's Jerky. Steve's Jerky is absolutely delicious. And also, we got tip jars down below where you can hit up the PayPal, the Patreon, and the Amazon wish list to support the show. And yeah, that's about all we got for tonight, folks. I want to thank you all for listening. Bechtloff out.